Welcome back to another episode of Paint and Spill. I'm your host, Elvy. Today on Paint and Spill, I have somebody who is hardworking, dedicated. She is a mother, a counselor, a friend, and also an entrepreneur. Today with me, I have Mrs. Christine Russell-Lewin from CRL Counseling Services. Right? Did I get that right?
And coaching.
And coaching. So if you need counseling, which we all do, especially in these all difficult times, Mrs. Russell-Lewin is the person for you. And also if you need life coaching.
Definitely.
Life coaching, oh my God. Mrs. Lewin, but before we talk about Mrs. Lewin's occupation, we've met before, right? We worked before.
Of course.
We worked like literally 7 years ago. Because our Facebook memories them come up, I know say exactly 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, this period May, we did our work together.
Okay.
Time fly, though.
Yes, it does.
So
it
time
does.
really,
And
really
memories
flies.
are cherishable.
Memories? What kind of memories?
The fact that we spent so many time together in 7 years, 7 years ago.
Don't
And now we can look back and say, yes, we did it.
Well, it was just I was just volunteering. I was working off some hours, but it really felt like I was there, a part of the school. I felt like I was a part of the school. I felt like I was there. I was never excluded. Made it all over, run up and down, I do things as usual. And even out of
the
that,
life of the party as usual.
out of that, I was invited to your church summer camp.
Yes.
I made it love
yes,
that. I made it really love that. So from then till now, I have one of the students. I have several students from that batch. I have Shortina in my class right now. So that kind of nice. When she come in, she say, "Miss, remember when we did go at camp?"
Yes, the lasting memories, those have been etched in the minds of those children. They will never forget you.
Right.
And all of what you did. So
you know the story about the Pied Piper?
I can't remember it right now, but you can share it.
When the man, when he play the pipe, he used the flute and get rid of the rats. So when he played the flute, the rats came. So if the Pied Piper were for children, it would be me. As me open my mouth, anyway me look, if it didn't come and I must say, oh that.
You're right. So you see, children are attracted to you.
I really don't know why or what did I do.
Your personality.
You think so?
Yes, it is.
Alright, so what are we painting today, Mrs.
We are just touching base with life.
With life, so we're going to paint anything that...
You're just going to paint, so we talk and paint and it will come out in your art because painting is therapy.
Painting is therapy, right? And you also use painting in your...
Yes, art therapy is also very, very instrumental in dealing with clients who want to release and not necessarily talk. And some persons will just paint and it comes out, and some persons will just talk, and while talking, painting, and it brings out different emotions.
Do you use art therapy with your younger clients or your older clients, or just across the board?
It can be used across the board, but it is usually used with children because that's a way of expression. Art and play is a way of getting children to express, but art therapy can be used with just about anybody because it is basically bringing out expression and emotions in creative forms and also releasing and bringing healing. So anybody can use art therapy.
I think that I'm not a counselor, but definitely this show with the painting came out of my own trying to cope with all this new changes and new teaching and learning online and stuff. Right there, I'm just say we can't take this mega paint.
Right. So actually, what you do, you release your emotions and pain through painting. So usually persons will try different things to get their emotions out, smoking, doing all kind of things. But what you did at that time was use painting to reach to you, and it works.
It worked because I don't know where would I be right now.
So we can talk and paint.
We're gonna talk and paint. So what led you to pursue a career in counseling? What inspired the decision for you to be a counselor?
Actually, when I went to college, I didn't start it as a counseling. I went to college to do office administration, but while in college doing administration, a teacher called me one day and says, I see a teacher in you, do teaching. So I quickly transfer and I went over to teacher education and then start working as a teacher, realize that there is more to just teaching. So what I did was just ask my friend, do you know where I can do a degree? And she said, yes. So what happened is that I went and applied for UTech to get my first degree done. But guess what? They lost my file. And so I said, you know what? I'm not going to work one more year without studying. I need to study.
They lost your file?
Well, my file was misplaced.
So them recover it after?
Well, I don't know because I actually just tried a different university, and that was when they were offering guidance and counseling. So I actually went in it just for the degree, for the qualification. But upon doing the degree, I found passion. I realized that this was helping me to deal with my own personal issues, and that just pushed me into the direction. So it is basically a way of getting help for myself, which pulls me into what I'm doing now.
Right. So do you find fulfillment in doing this job? Is it a fulfilling profession for you?
Very much fulfilling. It is more fulfilling than satisfaction, and that is what life is about. Being fulfilled and achieving your purpose than being satisfied, because money will bring satisfaction, but it will not bring fulfillment.
Right.
So fulfillment is when you're achieving your purpose and you're touching lives and creating impact. And I believe that is what this counseling experience has done for me. And I really am growing and embracing it every step of the way as I go.
And would you agree that this formal training has helped you in the other aspects of your life? Like, I know that you are active in the church, so do you use this training, do you transfer this knowledge that you have from your training into your spiritual life?
Of course it does, because it is helping you to be whole and bringing about wholeness, and it is holistic development. So once you adapt and embrace the skills that are there, you use it basically in building relationships, communicating, touching, impacting, and everything else. So, yeah, it is something that just works.
You ever accidentally counsel a friend? Like, just unintentional?
For what counseling is, you don't really necessarily counsel a friend, but what you can do is give advice and actually say your personal view, but deep down there is some skills that are being used to actually guide the person in terms of a direction where they can go and what choices they make, because it is a part of you. It is something that is natural.
Right.
Once you choose to allow it to be there, then it will bring forth fruits. So yeah, it comes natural. You use the skills and the techniques that you know to formalize and to get emotions out and to bring about healing. But it is a way of life. It is also a way of life, and it's a life skill that you appreciate and use.
Right.
Just about in every way.
So are there any projects that you're working on right now that you would like to share with us?
Well, currently I am working with personal development and spiritual empowerment with community persons, mostly in the church, but it has been extended not only to the community, but just about anybody who sees where their life is at a spot where they are like stuck and they just need a change, or they just want to develop themselves some more and understand themselves and do self-discovery. This course is an eye-opener. It positions you on a path to going after your dreams and also set you on a footing to make progress, because the reality is that a lot of persons, they're not where they want to be, and they know where they want to go, but they're just not in a state of dormancy.
Right.
So the personal development is helping them to assess strengths, weaknesses, skills and talents, and point them into a direction of their vision and their purpose through accountability.
I don't think that, I don't, based on my daily interaction with individuals, I don't think they're ready for that word.
And it is a principle that has to be cultured and taught, because based on how we were socialized, to each his own, and everybody doing in their own world, doing their own thing.
Right.
Accountability is a new way of living, and the culture has to change, because a lot of persons are hurting, are suffering, are going through a lot of stuff, but because they locked it in within themselves, they don't really share, and persons don't see the need to press upon them to express. Then there is the element of, she alright, man, she deal with her issues by herself, or him alright, him good. But accountability is where you check in and you provide the necessary support and guidance. And we as a culture, our country, has to look at how can we better support each other instead of fighting or tearing down, or looking at our negatives instead of the positives.
No, I think we have to be accountable on an individual level, and then it will spew over into family and then larger society. There is something that I notice, especially in my age group, right? I saw me girl with no effort to say, okay, I experienced this, but this direction is where I want to go now. So this not happened to me again.
Breaking the cycle.
I feel like I've been neglected. I feel like I don't know how to express certain emotion, but I want to learn how to. Instead of saying, I saw my girl, so me never know this, me never get this, me never get that. But you're at an age where you can get it for yourself.
Right, so persons have to be taught and also be at a place where they will be ready to receive, because readiness is important. You can't achieve certain things without being ready. No matter how hard you try, or no matter how much force or coerce you might get, you have to be ready from within, and readiness speaks to what's going on your inside. Different situations force person to a spot where they are ready. Sometimes it is a trauma, sometimes it is the death of a family, sometimes it is just a change in their own relationships. Something happened and it caused them to be in readiness mode. Or some persons are just at a place and they say, I can't stay here anymore, I just have to move. So it has to change who you are around to, who you socialize with, because you feed off a different person's energy. And persons will say, I saw me grow and I saw me live, but deep down, they want to change, but because nobody else is moving, they think it is odd for them to step out and make the first move, and nobody wants to make the first move. So, but I think that we are now embracing a culture where persons are doing that, disrupting the norm and the narrative, and also creating their own space for growth. And I think you are doing that with this course. You are, this show. And which is also a course because it's teaching persons how they can get their emotions out and tap into the positive energies of using art to release, to have a conversation, to capture, and also to relate. So, yeah.
I think I like disturbing the norm.
And nothing is wrong with that.
I think I like it, and I also think that it stemmed from being excluded.
And that has a lot to do with how you were socialized and factors which have contributed to you thinking and feeling and getting things done. And that's your way of life.
So when I last week I was very, very low. Last week I was very, very low, and when I allowed myself to feel what I was feeling, I'm like, where is this coming from? Then realized that I was thinking about growing up. And when I was growing up, may I tell them, Miss Lewin, oftentimes I wasn't included. I was by myself. I was teased, whatever by myself. And then we realized, yes, I did cry a little bit, but then we realized it's that exclusion that give me the willpower right now to say, May I do that tomorrow? I'm not gonna do it. With or without anybody, me just know say I'm not gonna do it. So it yes, me still feel away because you were rejected. Nobody want rejection, but out of the rejection, I had to survive. So me adapt.
And you find a way to, and it works for you, and you become so innate. It becomes so innate to you that you grow with this kind of personality now. So you get things done by pushing ahead. Not being excluded, but making yourself included by putting your first step out, and the results is showing. So it is working for you. Whereas with some persons now, they will forever stay in the corner and they will forever mope and cry over things that they don't get done. But what is it that you are doing to make the necessary steps to achieve and to get and to move forward? And the readiness factor is critical. You had to do this because deep down within you were not that person who should be locked in a corner.
Based on
how, no, I don't think you were created to be out there and to bring life and to bring out expressions and bring forth release. So what was happening is that the true you was being locked on the inside. So you needed what was called self-discovery, and that happens over a period of time, and you're still discovering yourself as you go along and doing what you're doing.
You know what I noticed early with myself?
That's beautiful.
This?
Yes.
Oh. Every week, what I paint is not presentable, so that's good to hear.
That is art. Art is always ready and always presentable because it is creativity.
So you know what I know when we realize early, and then looking back, I say, how did I have that level of self-awareness so early? Early, I noticed that no matter where I am, the minute I open my mouth, the eyes are on me. Me just need to just open my mouth like one different, and if me even go in one room and don't say nothing, everybody wham.
And you don't know where that comes from?
No! Where it comes
We have different areas of socialization, and the fundamental places of socialization are home, school, and church. And the community. So at some point, something would have pushed you to that point where you get recognition, and that just open up the real you to just come out. It could be church, because
very active in our church,
and that also helps to prepare you for whatever platform that you go on, because it teaches you some fundamental principles that will never die.
You have a point. I was very, very active in church. And
then you have a voice, persons would listen to you. So that sets the basis on which.
Even people who don't know me recognize that I have a voice.
Yes, because remember, it is what is being said that will create the difference.
Probably.
You have the who speaks, but also what is critical about what is being said is the message behind what is being said, and the passion that it is said, it is spoken with. So at that time, you might not remember what you have said that would have brought on that attention, but persons who would have been in the audience remember when you were a little girl and you did this and you said that, and that stood out and create a long-term memory.
So I did a course at UE, right? Supervisory management. And but then I class, right? I'm saying, all right, but there's a comedy class and go home. There's a comedy class, go home and not say nothing. But there's a comedy class, go home and did me EM, right? Anyways, one day I'm in a class and I had to say something. And I say something in a class. When we reach home, somebody texts me and say, how me so passionate about a particular. I say, you're not in the class, so how did you hear? So I'm for about that she knows somebody in her class. And then me say, look how me decide to come to class, go home, don't say nothing. Come to class, go home, don't say nothing.
And that is the difference with speaking and speaking with passion. That is the difference between speaking and speaking with your emotion, with your I think whatever you do it with your entire body. And not only just your head or your brain or your intellect. And that's probably that also contributes to you being tired, because you use up all of this energy to get whatever message you're bringing across. And that is just your unique way of bringing out your point and accepting self.
Right. So, but you, right? How do counselors maintain the boundary between their client's emotion and their own emotion. Like on your bad day, how do you still get up and still counts another person? I know said this morning it was so hard for you to get up. How do you maintain the boundary?
Affirming yourself is very, very important, and touching base with reality and what's going on with you is critical, because yes, there are going to be low days and good days, but you have to know yourself and know and separate your feelings from what you know, because feelings are going to come and feelings are going to go. And you also have to have somebody who counsels the counselor, who you bounce things off on, and also who you are open with and who you are real with, because you are human, and sometimes there are some cases that will overwhelm you, but you have to know how to separate them from your personal space and just live. And there are the other cases now where you have this one, so you don't allow it to crowd you out or anything. But over a period of time, practice and experience will allow you to do that. But you're a human being most of all, and so the emotions are going to. But you create a balance or a self-control, which is critical, so you don't transfer or have interference with the client's issues coming into your own space and causing you. And that is why you refer, if you realize that you're at a place where you think that the problem is crowding into you and you're not being able to do a good job, it means that this case doesn't belong to you anymore. So you have to be upfront with your client and say, I think you need to see somebody else. So you are your own boss basically, so you guide yourself into how you can. And self-care, very, very important. Like positive mindset, taking care of your body.
That word has become extremely popular over the last year, but what are some of the things that are self-care? How can I self-care without seeming selfish?
Being honest and listening to your body.
I said, okay, sister, I need to stop.
Yeah, you have to listen to your body, and you have to respect your feelings and your emotions, and you have to just be disciplined and consistent too, because you can, and also look at the results, because you can fool yourself and say, I am good, I'm taking care of myself, when deep down you're not. You're trying to put on a show. So it is basically being in touch with reality and also doing the necessary things that will bring out your true sense of self and enjoying who you are. That takes practice, and it takes discipline, and it takes resources. So it just not gonna happen overnight, but gradually you start doing what you have to do to ensure that you are on top of your game, and it will happen. So what are you doing to take care of yourself?
What am I doing?
Yes.
I have no idea. I stop when I stop completely when I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Right, so you listen to your body and you're responding. And there is always the other healthy lifestyle tips that you can use.
So what I try to do is I try to tap into my energy when it is up. So when my energy is up, I'm for this show. When my energy is up for this show, I make a lot that can last the time that I would need to recover, and I would need like 2 weeks. 2 weeks max. Me just need to get it. So I do enough that the program doesn't stop. So the program doesn't stop, but I keep going.
Okay.
The program doesn't stop, but I stop. So when I'm not,
so you create a balance.
Yeah, so I schedule it in such a way that I shoot a lot, edit, and then it will I can rest and then watch the things run themselves.
All right, so I listened to what you just said a while ago, and what I take away from that in terms of your self-care is rest. Resting your body, your mind is very, very important, and that will help you to retool, to come up with new ideas, and to think and to put things into place so you can achieve again.
I also journal. I do journal.
Beautiful. That's powerful. Journaling is powerful.
But here's what I have an issue with that. I'm not afraid to talk about it on camera because most persons probably have the issue. So I will have like things on the to-do list. Mm-hmm. And it's either one or two things. Either I don't do anything, or I do all the less important one, and then the bigger ones are left. So we have like 3 big things for the day, and we end up do 6 little things and don't do the big things. Why is it that me I wonder, am I afraid of tackling the big task? And the big task we did it like all 3 weeks.
Fear is a factor. And also, you could also put a time to when you'll get it, so you'll be more specific in your scheduling. So you have the list, but you didn't set a time in which you are going to do the activity.
Me try that. You know when I do food and nutrition at school, I do a time plan. I've made time plans. So 9 to 10, blah blah blah, 10 to, and then we find myself a hopscotch down to the next thing.
And I guess too, because your fear of you might doing the big thing and it don't come out the way you want it to come out, or because just like exams, some persons tackle the easy questions first, or the question that they can manage first before they go on to the more challenging ones, and it worked for them. So my question is is it working for you? Are you getting your objectives achieved, or you're still not getting it achieved? Maybe you need to look back at your list. Are you putting too many things on the list and there is not a balance, or you're an overachiever? You feel as if you have to push yourself to that point where you have to always get everything done on time, on point. That can also be an issue.
So,
I'm afraid to fail.
So look at me going into counseling. So when I had 12 things on the to-do list, I was getting 7 done. I'm gonna say maybe may have too much on the to-do list. So I cut it down to 7. Now that I'm at 7, just 7 for the to-do list, I realize that I'm not doing the big task. I not do the big, so I do everything. And we have the energy to do everything, and then oh God.
So is it what you are to do is the issue, or it is just that the big task you lose energy when it comes onto that?
Me lose energy, me lose interest, and the big tasks, them are the ones that were important.
So maybe you need to go back to your list to see, do you really need to get this done, or you put it there because you're pushing yourself against your will? So there are other things that you have to look at in terms of what is it that you want to do, what is it that you set out to do, and are you encouraging yourself when you get the work done? What is this reinforcement that you use to cheer yourself on? What reward did you give to yourself after you get 5 done or 6 done? Is more work you reward yourself with, or you take time out to affirm you? Because that is also important. You're doing the work, but there is no reward.
No, good job, Elvy.
Yes. So you keep pressing against yourself, you keep pushing yourself, and that will allow you to become frustrated because there is no win-win.
As you mentioned something, just connect on that. Like,
so
I'm always looking at what's not done.
Oh, you're focusing on the negative. So you know to need to spin the wheel and look at the positive and embrace the positive and say, yes, I conquered today.
Another thing when we realized recently, like I have to have everything I need. Like, for example, I was going to sleep for a night somewhere, right? Anything I can think about, I brought it. Me carry my extension.
So you're a very detailed person.
I don't see myself as a detailed person, but something about going somewhere and don't feel secure really threaten me. So me carry extension, me carry even my own iron, me carry 2 charger, me carry some fear like something like I'm gonna need it, I'm gonna have it.
You always want to have it all covered, but the reality is that if you push yourself to that extent, to think that way and to do things like that, you're setting up yourself for failure, because there are times when you are not going to have all the resources and all the things that you need, and things are not going to go according to your script. So when you push yourself in that position to work according to that, and it doesn't happen, it will send you into a crash system and lower your energy, push you back, and instead of you moving forward 10 steps, you move 20 steps backward.
You know what next thing?
And slow you down.
I've never admitted this before, but I'm going to admit it now. What next thing is? Mr. Plan conversation. So if I know I'm going to see you, I'm going to plan the conversation in my head. And
overwork your brain.
I'm keeping control. No, I'm going to be honest. It started happening when I was going to a point where I just never want to share nothing with anybody.
Oh.
So I was... not that I do anything bad, but I was being pressured X way, and me just never want to do that no more. So when we meet certain people, I control the conversation.
Oh.
And me planning in my head. So like how I knew I was gonna see you today. Me not control this conversation, but I tell you that what I used to do. Me say, all right, I'm going to say X, and I'm going to ask S, and let the only that way. And if me gonna stay with you for 1 hour, me make sure me ask you things that are gonna consume, that you're gonna talk about for 1 hour.
Yeah, so you must always be in charge, but you have to understand that is not what life is. Life comes with a dynamic of things going in different directions at different time in different ways, and yes, you want it to be done that way, but you can't do it your way all the time, because it will push even more pressure on you. And what you were doing is kind of cushioning the reality or your thoughts that you don't want to achieve certain things. But it's fine to share that and you're getting there, and many persons are like that. They have a lot of things, a lot of conversations, a lot of things happening in their brain. It's just that they don't leave the brain. It don't come out on paper. It don't go anywhere to anybody else. And it's because of fear. It could be because of what happened in your childhood. Fear, it could also be trust issues, how you were socialized. Several factors could have contributed to that. And you're making the necessary steps now to step out, speak out, and reach out. And that is a very great way to start. And I believe that with that mindset and that drive that you have on the inside, you're gonna push and pull yourself together, and you will achieve. It's just that I don't need to be so hard on you.
The thing that the thing that I have to tell myself recently is that the good thing is I'm aware. The good thing is
self-awareness.
Yeah. The good thing is I'm aware. That's the good thing. I'm aware.
And that is what I preach: self-awareness, self-love, and self-acceptance. That will bring a total discovery, and that is very, very important.
The good thing is I'm aware, and I always check myself. Did I have to say that? Did I have to say it that way? Do I need to do that? Do I need to? I'm not afraid to apologize to people. But then when they come on to me, come like say,
You put a lot of pressure on you.
And I don't think I have forgiven myself for certain things as yet.
Wow, that's another episode. You have to forgive
I did an episode on it.
You have to forgive you.
I did an episode on Sing Swim Ready Captain on how to forgive yourself. And I thought I was...
So it can't just be doing an episode, but it's a part of you getting freedom and getting healing through what you're doing. So you did the episode, but yeah, that's it. It needs more than that. And hence the play therapy or the art therapy that will help, and the other fundamental aspect of counseling. Let's talk a little bit about your art. How do you feel about what you draw or you paint? You like it?
I have a rubric in my head that I'm trying to master.
Okay.
But I've attempted this before several times. This is my go-to.
Tell me a little about that.
So I was trying to get this. All right, this painting that I'm trying to is like a painting that I'm trying to recreate that I did when we were at school. Mm-hmm. So is this blue skies, mm-hmm. mountains, and trees, and that's my go-to thing. Maybe because I know how to do it, or maybe I said to myself, say, I need to at least master this design before me attempt any other.
Oh.
I'm still gonna get the mountain all my want.
But is it because of the idea that you have in your head of how you want it? But it's perfect the way it is. But is it that because you are someone who is trying to get an image out there, so you want things the exact way as how you visualize it?
I think it's because this image was the first painting that I saw. I can do it.
But the thing with painting is that it's no matter how many pieces, different things, because remember, it is natural instincts, it's emotions, it is skills and things you're just releasing. So it's not gonna be exact.
So what about yours? Yours is a derivative.
It's what you visualize it to be. It is just putting the emotions out, letting go, letting it out.
I see a release. I see, derivative, pretty colors.
Having happy memories, just up and about, a mixture of all. And I love colors, so I touch base with just about everything.
I have two more questions before we close our show. So, remember CRL
coaching and
counseling services. I'm gonna put her number on the screen. All of us need counseling. If you're ready to face yourself, your fears and everything, and you'd like to progress forward, I told my friend recently that I'm not gonna do another course until I go to counseling.
Yes, therapy is everybody needs to do therapy. Everybody needs a mentor to help them, coach them through certain things, because the reality is that you need people to bounce off stuff on. You need people. We all need people, and it is important to release.
Have you ever considered any other profession? Like you go to teaching?
I would have earlier on in my teenage years. I wanted to be a bank manager just because of the fact I wanted to look up at the status. But I really love serving and I love people. So it is more not necessarily having another profession, but whatever it takes to serve. And ministry, ministry and serving is where I find the most fulfillment. Touching people's lives by encouraging them, motivating them, giving them hope, helping them to see another reason to live, helping them to understand that there is potential and greatness that is locked up on your inside, trying to get out, but you're not giving it a chance to come out.
You know the prayer that said, "Teach us, good Lord, to serve thee as thou deservest to give."
I've heard it before.
To fight and not to heed the word. I love it.
And teaching, and there are so many other professions that brings out serving. And I think that is what life is. You have to be a servant before you can be a leader. And a servant heart is what God desires.
So you know that NCU is an arm of the church. Right through your course, them teach about servant leadership.
Yes, you have to learn to follow.
But me tell people, me realize early all the while, I didn't even write one quote about it. Leadership is not a privilege, it's a responsibility. You have the responsibility to take care of the persons under your care. You have to serve the people. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is here to serve the country.
All of us.
The teacher in the classroom is here to serve the students. The principal is here to serve
and every
the school.
Servant is a leader, and every leader is a servant. So whether you like it or not, there is a leader that is inside of you, but there is also the servant that is also inside of you, because that is how you learn. And being humble and being teachable will bring out the attitude of a good servant, but also taking to task what you have learned and helping others will bring out the leader is inside of you. So you see how both of them work with each other. So it is a dynamic of life, Elvy. It is a dynamics of life. And I'm happy that you took the initiative to invite me on your show so we could have this conversation and just to encourage you. Don't beat up yourself so much. Reward Elvy. When was the last time you rewarded Elvy?
When was the last time I wanted to buy myself something and I said no? I didn't want to buy something.
So you see, you're not reward yourself. You're gonna lose momentum and lose energy. Remember, just like a little child who does something, they want to know, good job. They want to be rewarded. So if you don't reward yourself and share yourself, and how you think other people are going to do that? And even when other people do it, you're not going to get the satisfaction that you really need
because
to have.
You live with yourself, and if you are not kind to you, then who will be?
And then the satisfaction now works with the fulfillment, so you are now motivated and you're inspired and you're pushed to keep going. You're doing a good job.
After I was getting frustrated about something and I say, but you do that.
And accept compliments.
It's really hard. It's easier to give it than
I know, but you have to also accept because you want to be grateful. Gratitude is very, very important.
Right. Don't you think?
So you have to accept.
So I have one last question, right? What is the most interesting thing that we don't know about you that we were going to say, wow, that's so nice. We didn't know. What's the most important? What is the most interesting thing that you'd like to share that we don't know? What about you? That's
when you say
exciting.
we, I mean
Me and my people them where
everybody. I
Where
mean,
what?
I'm not even sure because I think there are so many persons who know so many things about me. But what is it that I love I love I love sex.
I actually want to do one topic, right? Sin, sex, and salvation.
Oh, and that would be powerful. I love
You know
sex.
how long?
And I think persons would know that because I always say I want to be a sex therapist when I grow up.
We need to have this conversation wide and open that people, when people hear sex, they're like, oh.
Yes, and change the stigma that is attached to sex and the church and getting people to understand. And I love families and I love marriage. And I just believe that your family life is a fundamental pillar that helps you to grow and become who you are.
Family first ministry too.
Yes. And if you can hold on to the great memories and allow the life of your family to impact you, you'll be able to impact your own family when you have one. But a lot of persons can't give what they don't have because the brokenness and the pain of family life and of their past, they dragged it into.
Oh my God, I'm sorry you mentioned brokenness when we are finished. You know what I was thinking about yesterday in my class? The conversation come up and I talk to my students about brokenness. I'm saying, nobody hold the parents, nobody feel away about the parents, they're parenting from a brokenness. They are broken and they have to parent you and they only know the brokenness. And I tell my class yesterday, I said, it's your duty not to accept this brokenness.
That is true.
It's a happen and you say, oh my God, all right, okay, whatever he's saying, because one student I say XYZ, I mean say, that is opinion, that's not your truth. You understand? That's not your truth. And if you understand that he is broken, so you can't he's coming from a place of brokenness, so don't accept his brokenness. You're not going to be rude, you know. You just, in your own mind, you're going to say, that's what he thinks,
and
that's not the truth.
That everybody is human and everybody has their human side of pain and gain, but there is power in your story when you share. And a lot of times parents don't really express how they feel to their children. And so the children grow around and feeling that mommy and daddy are superwomen and supermen. And when they're reaching breaking point and crunching point, the children can't relate because they never see that side. There is no communication that takes place because we weren't socialized like that. Everybody keep their mouth shut and deal with their own problems.
Break the cycle, break the cycle.
So breaking the cycle is the way to go.
So Mrs. Lewin, I want to thank you for coming here on Paint and Spell. It's a pleasure to work with you again.
Yes.
And I hope I'll be working with you in the future.
Of course.
As long as I'm trying to create a table for myself, and there are some persons that I'm definitely taking with me. So as long as I'm in a space and I can get you to work with me, I want to get you to work with me. So
no problem.
Mrs. Lewin is a trained counselor, a coach. She also does guest speaking, and if you have a staff development and you want to feature, you can call her, invite her. I'm gonna put her information there. You have Instagram?
Yes, CRL Nuggets to Inspire.
Right, gonna put all that. And also, if you are watching this show and you have not subscribed, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching another episode of Paint and Spell.
Or you could say SLR, share, like, and subscribe.